YouTube, hello, welcome to the live stream. It's been a couple days. I'm actually going to start with a tweet. One of my own tweets. How tacky is that? But I feel like this spells out the question better than anything I could do here ad-libbing. Earlier today, I asked, or said, despite being financially impossible and wildly opposed by players and traditionalists alike, the hypothetical intrigue remains. Would Major League Baseball see wider popularity to the casual fan if there were less games per season? Now, there's not a ton of responses here, less than 400, but you can pretty clearly see it's about a 60-40 split in favor of no. Keep the amount of games as they are. Again, 60-40, about 400 votes. Enough of a sample to get you going that the answer might be no, but it's close. But like I said, none of this even matters because let's state the obvious here out of the gate. This is impossible. The ecosystem of Major League Baseball is built around 162 games. Rosters are built that way. Franchises are built that way. Businesses are built that way. Television contracts are built that way. So this is not going to change from 162 to anything else, I think, anytime soon. Maybe never even in my lifetime. So why am I even bringing this up? It would also be highly unpopular with players because they don't want to play less games. They don't want to make less money. And even traditionalists too. If you're not on the player side, if you have a different approach of, well, we've always done 162. First off, no, you haven't. Baseball started in the early 1900s playing 140 games. Then it went to 154, and then with expansion again, that's when it went to 162. But that's kind of where I want to start here. You know, in the early 1900s, how much competition was there for your attention on a daily basis? And I don't know the answer to that. I doubt you do either, because were you alive in 1900? So none of us truly know what it was like to live through this, but how many things were pulling at our attention? Not like today. I think that's a safe assumption to say that there's a million more things to do, watch, and consume here today than there was back then. And that's why baseball filled the void, right? Why not play 140 games? Why not basically play every day and do those train road trips in between? It made a lot of sense. And baseball has always been a high-volume sport. And let me tell you this. I'm saying this, I'm suggesting this about baseball being more popular to the masses and to the casual fan. I really do think there is something to this, but I'm also a person who, like today, there was no Oakland A's game. Sure, there's plenty of other games going on around the league, but my team's not playing today, and I kind of feel off. There's an empty void. That is so weird, right? But that's kind of the great part of baseball. It is like a soundtrack. It's like background music. You turn it on, you turn it off. You kind of come and go from it. You graze with it. Sure, you want to watch the important ones. You want to watch the big at-bats. You want to watch the dominant pitching matchups. Of course. And I like baseball being around on an everyday basis. But I also realize that times have changed. Competition for attention is out there. Consumption has changed. The ability to consume things have changed. The ability to digest sports, that's a weird way to put it. But think about it. That's literally what it is. You know, can you watch an entire week's worth of baseball, every single pitch, every single out? Because a lot of people do that with the NFL. They watch their football team every snap. It only takes once a week, though. And it's usually on the same day, and the game's only a couple hours. Let me get back to this for a second. Tonight in Major League Baseball, there was almost a perfect game. There was a no-hitter, which is still plenty to talk about. What do you think is going to dominate the headlines tomorrow? What's going to dominate sports talk radio tomorrow? What's going to dominate social media tomorrow? What's going to be on the front page of, well, maybe not front page, but what's going to dominate the newspapers tomorrow? The answer is the NFL draft, which is still days away at this point. I'm serious. You had something to talk about tonight for Major League Baseball. Huge. And it's not going to be the thing tomorrow across the country. Sure, in Chicago, it's going to be a big deal. Everywhere else, I think we all know that's obvious. So how does the NFL do this? And also, what What do media situations and fan situations, like what's the landscape like? To me, the media landscape, it caters to two things: hype and accessibility. Is baseball easy to hype? It should be. There's a game every night for most teams. There's tons to talk about. There's almost 4 hours of baseball game on an everyday basis to find something interesting to discuss. But I go back to less is more. How can there be only one football game per week? And there's all those days in between of literally all day coverage of one game and one team. Well, all teams, but you understand what I'm saying. Local regions can focus in on their team throughout an entire week and have enough to say for that whole week. So is baseball doing too much? Football's hugely accessible. Like I said, one game a week, one day a week. It's a Sunday usually. If not, you know it's a Monday or a Thursday, and those are the primetime games. They only play 16 games a year, but somehow the NFL has turned itself into a year-round attention machine. I used to resent that a little bit, like, hey, leave baseball season alone. You guys aren't doing anything in April, May, and June. But now I realize, that is being good at business. Making yourself relevant, putting yourself in the spotlight, making your business a year-round appeal, even though the football season is one of the shortest by calendar months. 4 months, and the regular season is done. So they go from 4 months to being a year-round operation. It's easily digestible. That's the secret. A fan can commit themselves to watching, again, every snap, every down of a season, one day a week, couple hours that Sunday. That's it. What would it take you to watch an entire week's worth of a Major League Baseball team? Think about this. Let's say on average 6 games a week. Let's say each game is 3 and change. I mean, you could round it up to 4 to make the math easier. That's 24 hours. 6 times 4, 24 hours a week. Who can consume 24 hours a week of baseball? I mean, congratulations to those of you who do. And yes, of course you're saying, Brody, you do, but that's my job, right? I'm just saying, if you have something else that requires your attention, it's hard to work 40 hours and watch 24 hours of baseball across 6 days. That's not easily digestible. And am I saying you have to watch every game, every out, every pitch to be a good fan? No, of course not. But it makes it hard to keep up, right? If you've watched a team all season in football, you know what happened their last game because you watched the entire thing. But let's just say it's a Monday. I missed 2 days, and now it's a off day Thursday. It's a Friday. I haven't seen a game in 5 days. I've missed the last 2 A's baseball games, hypothetically. I don't know who's out of the lineup. I forget where we're at in the rotation. It's harder to digest on an everyday basis. And I'm not faulting anybody by saying, well, come on, commit to it. Again, 24 hours a week, 20 to 24 hours a week of watching the entire thing, it's hard to do. It's hard to keep up with. And the other thing is, playing more games wipes away what happened yesterday so much quicker. That's the thing about football. You sit on the last week's game for days. You go back and talk about, 3rd and long in that, third quarter situation, whatever. Baseball, it's okay, we can talk about last night's game for a little bit today, but pretty soon by tonight, we're playing again. So you're kind of lost in the whirlwind of a constant new game and a constant new page and chapter of this story that's being written every single night. Again, good thing for entertainment value, good thing for those who are into sports wagering. It gives you a lot of things to look at and have fun with. Good if it's, like I said, something you put on in the background of your living room and you watch and you do some other stuff and it's like your summertime companion. That's awesome. But maybe there's an extent of oversaturation. So I know what you're asking me now. Well, all right, if you're not going to play 162 games, what are you cutting this thing down to? I'll be honest, I don't know. If you go 100, we had a taste. We had a taste last summer of 60 games in 66 days. It was too short. Easy, no doubt. But what if you played twice that? What if you played 120? What if you did 2 of those last summer seasons? Spread it out a little bit, have some off days in between, have time to build up hype. I'm gonna mention something else that was suggested here. A friend and former colleague, Ahmed Fareed, who now works for NBC Sports corporate national, I should say, out in Connecticut, used to be with us here in Northern California. I think he was joking, but it sounded pretty serious and it sounded like a good idea. Don't take away the amount of games. Have Sundays count for triple. Wait, what? Think about this. Every game you play during the week counts as a win. Let's say that game you play on, hypothetically, Saturday or Sundays, those would count as triple. If you win, it's 3 wins. If you lose, it's 3 losses. That's unheard of in sports. That's not a terrible idea at all. It's way off the charts, right? If you think cutting down games is logistically impossible, of course, right? Financials are built around 162, as they've been for decades now. But if you think that's crazy, yeah, giving a team 3 wins for the one that they got on a Sunday, that would probably be even more far-fetched. Be a lot of strategy, though, saving the right pitcher, saving the right bullpen arms, getting the right lineup in there for that Sunday game, or, make sure you get the wins all week, and then if you lose Sunday, it's kind of a wash. Your week is a wash. It doesn't make the other games it makes them less important, but it doesn't make them unimportant. They still have relevance. So there you go. Accessibility and hype. Those are the 2 things that dominate the landscape right now. That's why the NFL is so popular. Again, that's why look at content across the internet. Look at content on YouTube. How much more football is there than baseball? How much more basketball is there than baseball? I think it's very clear. We all know this. The audience for baseball has been dwindling a little bit in the last several years. It's becoming an older audience. The median age was, I believe, in the 40s. Now it's in the 50s, high 50s. It's an older audience. I am concerned on a lot of regards for the future of Major League Baseball. I truly am. And why am I suggesting all this? I've told you it's impossible. I told you players and traditionalists are going to hate this. But I'm not asking if it's possible or if people are going to like it. I'm saying if you did it, would it work? And if it works, would it be worth it? Baseball it's got all the right ingredients, but it seems like it's missing a link somewhere. It's missing a link in the chain to really ingrain itself, to be like it was, honestly, when I feel like I was a kid growing up, late 80s, early 90s. And I know a lot of decades prior, baseball was the thing. I don't know that baseball is the thing right now. I'm not blaming anybody, but I am saying it has all the right things to be the thing right now. For some reason, it's not. It's just not. So I'm interested in hearing your thoughts on this. Is less more for Major League Baseball? Could they play 120 games in a season? Create a little bit more hype in between? Can they do a better job? Are there better ways to get more out of your sport, to cater to the wider audience? And I know what you're also going to tell me. Well, who cares about the casual fan? They're not the ones that we want. Maybe so, but I think the casual fans are what literally floats the boat for the NFL right now. And they seem to be doing just fine. All right, that does it for this live stream. Again, hit me up in the comments section. I'd love to know what you think. Have a good night, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye.